media. Our Facebook page is, I don't know, 21,000. On Instagram, we have 12,000, but I'm talking about hardcore members that have actually gone through our website, and then they can access for free all of the amazing resources that we have. I'm very excited that one of our newest sponsors is called Facets of Hospitality. They are a brand building boutique firm dedicated to creating digital solutions for your company's growth, for hosting, and they are hosting this event. So kudos to them behind the scenes, making certain that we're going live, that everything is just connected properly with Zoom. And all I have to do is say, welcome, NASNPRO members, and then tell you about our amazing speaker that we have today that is joining us live from the Treasure Coast. This is her second webinar with us. Her name is Tasha Chen. She is the author and an international speaker. She helps businesses becoming successful by encouraging entrepreneurs to step into their power and remember that they know how to create wealth into their own reality. Tasha's interest in entrepreneurship began when she was in charge of a chain salon. So she actually has a background to help beauty professionals like us, which is really exciting. Like, she gets the day-to-day clients walking in, taking appointments, working with the hairstylist, your estheticians, your massage therapist. And I think that's really powerful in days like this, because I'm not just bringing on someone who has a lot of business experience, but they actually have a foundation of beauty experience, and they're marrying their passion and their expertise to help us. She, last week was a very successful webinar. We talked about building abundance. And what's really exciting, and actually she corrected me, I thought she had helped entrepreneurs worldwide build or generate $37.5 million. And actually it was what, $45 million?
Yeah.
So I could take a little bit of that. But today we're going to be specifically talking about money traumas. But you gave us an assignment. You gave us a homework. Can you let's do a quick recap. Maybe last week's webinar, if anyone missed it, or let's talk about our homework.
What was the homework? Bless your heart, I do tons of these a week. I can't remember, so can you remind me?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it was to write a love letter to money.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Yes. Facets of hospitality. Thank you. And thank you so much, Denise and NASNPRO, for having me back. I really enjoyed seeing everyone engaging last week, and I went in the group and I saw lots and lots of comments, and it really warmed my heart to know that, so many people appreciated the conversation about getting ready to open back up our businesses and coming from an abundance mindset, right? So last week we talked about 3 ways that you could adapt this abundance thinking right before you open your doors again. We talk about setting intentions. So being really clear about, when I open my business, what would I like my income or my revenue, or, what would I like it to be going forward? We talk about money loves specifics. So instead of saying, oh my goodness, and this is from memory, I'm hoping this is what I said, but, I find that when I say to money, instead of I want money to come in this specific way, I talk about what I want the money to do, right? So that for me just makes it open up. It's about having good energy with money versus just having a good energetic relationship with money. And I think a lot of people responded and said, oh my God, I realized I don't have such a good relationship with money. My energy is always, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, there's never enough kind of energy. And so that doesn't put you in alignment with abundance. And then the last thing was writing a love letter to money. And that was the homework. And I said, can you imagine if money were your lover? What would money be saying about you right now and the relationship that you guys have. You know, if money, I know there are probably a lot more women in this community. So if money were your guy and money walked in the door, or money was your guy and hanging out with his friends, what would he be saying about you? Oh my God, she's needy. She's ungrateful. She, you know, she never seems to have enough of me. I don't want to be around her because her energy and the relationship that we have is no good. So the last assignment was to write a love letter to money.
Well, and I thought it was interesting, Tasha. I did the assignment
Yeah.
and I started out, "Dear Money, what if you took care of me?" And I had to stop and I'm like, what if? I'm like, I'm already starting out with a question and a hesitancy. And I'm like, okay, why? I mean, my late husband lavished me. I would never have run up with him and said, hey, by the way, you know, if you love me, will you do that? I'm like, why am I starting this letter? And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, thank God we are going to be talking about money traumas today, because I need to identify, and I've gone through your program where it talks about money traumas, but I'm like, okay, clearly I have more and more work needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So how about we jump right into that today?
So people definitely, if you don't have a pen and a paper, make certain you get them. I have my papers, you know, making certain that I'm writing my notes and so, you know, and again, let's do a quick shout out to Facets of Hospitality. They have a special exclusive reward that you can log into NASNPRO.com, access that for free, as is all of our member benefits, but go to NASNPRO.com and then take it away. Tasha, heal my money trauma.
Okay, so for everyone watching, you know, I would highly recommend that if you did not watch the webinar last week, or if you're watching on Facebook Live, if you can find it, I'm pretty sure it was called the 3 Laws of Abundance, maybe. But if you can find it, I would highly recommend watching it, because that's a good beginning point before we go into this conversation. And I really want you all, when you open up your businesses again, that you go in with such an abundance mindset that out the door you're succeeding, right? So that's my heart's desire for doing this, and that's what I'm really wanting everyone to get from this. Now let's talk about those times where, you know, because I think as human beings we have this intuition where it's like, I know something's up with me with money. I know it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm not really sure what's going on. I just know there's something at play. So for me, this occurred when I had worked really hard in school and I succeeded, graduated top of my class always. I got a job, I climbed the corporate ladder, I made really good money. Oh, by the way, while I was making all this money though, there never seemed to be enough. Have you ever had that where it's like, I'm making decent money, somehow after I pay the bills, it's just like there's never enough. So that was my thing with the job. So then I was like, okay, well then I'm gonna own my own business, because when I own my own business, I'm in charge of the money that's coming in, so I can keep as much of it as I want.
Right.
Yeah, so I started, that's when I bought the hair salon franchise, and I succeeded like crazy. Listen, I mean, in a very short period of time, within 4 years, I was at a 7-figure business, from 0 to 7 figures in 4 years. It's unheard of, right? So I did really, really, really well, except I never once paid myself. I never once paid myself. We ran our family and our family's life from my husband's income. We never, it was so bad. I didn't even use the company card to buy gas for my car.
Wow. And I think that a lot of spa salon owners or solo entrepreneurs do that. You know, they're so busy ordering the product, paying their employees, making certain the light bill gets paid, you know, all of the things that come with entrepreneurship or owning your own business, but then we forget to even take money out for ourselves. So,
and I don't think it's forget. I think it's a trauma. And that's what
I
we're going
agree.
to talk about today, right? So we're going to talk about why didn't I do that? I was a successful, I'm very intelligent. I have a lot of academic intelligence. I got some business strategic and some street smarts. Like I'm a perfect combination of all of it. But when it came to money, I wasn't paying myself. And that's not because I didn't know. That's because there was something bigger than my wisdom, my head smarts that was at play, and it was trauma. So I'm gonna, that's why I really want us to have this conversation, because if sometimes you're thinking, gosh, I'm working so hard. I have this business, or I have this, spa or salon or whatever it might be, and I seem to be doing everything I can possibly do, but I go home exhausted, right? I pay everybody else and there's never enough money for me. My kids are suffering while my vendors are being paid. My clients are leaving happy. I put together my little tip at the end of the day and it's like, oh my gosh, like, was this worth it? If you ever feel like that, then you want to grow, you want to expand, you want to do so much more, and you probably need more money to do it. And you're like, where am I going to get that from? How come it doesn't feel like I'm getting ahead? Or if you were like me, I was making great money, but none of it was coming into my family. And so that's when I realized, oh, on top of this, this story gets even more interesting. And if you watched last week, you'll know. So on top of making this big business 7 figures, then the next thing I knew, I was filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Like from a 7-figure business, and I'm talking about within months, right? So what I realized was how quickly that happened. I just said to myself, okay, Tasha, just sit back and look at this. And I said, logically, this doesn't make sense. You brought this business up so fast. You're pretty smart. You have the support of a franchise organization behind you. You have everything that you would need to succeed. And yet here you are in this money situation. Logically, there's something else at play, and it's not the stuff that makes sense. And so that began my journey of looking at me and my relationship with money. Clearly, that work transformed my life, completely transformed my life. And so now I'm on a mission to teach any entrepreneur who is excited about financial freedom. They want to know how to do it. They want to practice the principles that I've used. I'm excited to share that with them, which is why I'm on here with you today. So I used it to change my life first, and then I started teaching other people how to do it. And what I realized over the course of all this time is that many of us have money trauma. So if you're watching, I want you to type that, money trauma, because sometimes you kind of need to see the words. You've probably never heard of that concept before, ever in your life. I know I didn't. Right? And so I want you to type in the comments, or if you're watching on Facebook Live, I want you to type below this video, money trauma. Make yourself see it. You're hearing my voice, you're typing it, you're using your fingers, you're hearing yourself see it, you can see yourself type it. It's gonna enter your consciousness and make you start questioning at a very deep level, do I have that? I know I realized I had it. So based on the time that we have today, there are 13 different money traumas that I have seen people experience. And today I'm going to share 5 of them with you, the top 5 of the 13. But here's what I want you to know from the beginning. I'm going to give you a link that will allow you to watch a video with all 13. And you want to do this for yourself. You really, really want to see all the different ways you have money trauma, because when you see it, it will make so much sense to you, and you can begin the process of changing and transforming all of this baggage that comes along with the trauma. Like you heard Denise share, she went to write her money letter, and within the first sentence, she realized, oh my gosh, why would I write that? And she could immediately see it's stuff from my past that's making me, right?
And I've done the 13. And
yeah.
So, and I mean, when you were going through it, I was like, oh, yep, that's it. Oh, yep. And I'm like, I have 13. I'm like, oh, I think there's even more.
Yeah.
It's so important. And people are saying, Cheryl is saying money trauma. Maria's saying money trauma. So we've got a lot of people that are typing in. And Cheryl said she wrote her a love letter to herself every day. Good for you,
Oh,
Cheryl.
that's awesome, Cheryl.
So maybe it was improving, but again, go to that link and you're going to start to identify. And I was even going to ask you, Tasha, when we see things like, I've had this in my past, is you get maybe a bonus or grandma sends you money in, just money comes in unexpectedly, and then the refrigerator breaks down or the car breaks down. It's like, and you can see almost this pattern of, oh, you got it, and then it's taken away. Or that exact money is, you got the $100 and then it's $100 part to fix the car. And you're like, why does this always happen? Is that money trauma?
Yes. And in fact, I have a great story that I'm going to share. I'm going to list the
Okay.
top 5 for you. And then I'm going to share a story with you of one of my clients who her money trauma was so intense in her life that I don't want to give the story away. I'm going to tell you the story. Wait a second. I'll tell you, this one's really good. You want to stick around to hear it. So it looks like some people are asking for the link.
The link.
Yep, to the video with the 13. So if you can share that, that would be awesome. All right, so I'm going to jump into these five different ways that you have money trauma. And that was a great example, Denise. Like, if you ever notice, another thing too, like, you get money, as soon as money comes in, here is a big thing that needs it, that sucks it back out of your life. That's not normal. I don't want you to think that that happens to everybody. It doesn't. It's not normal. There's something inside of you that's causing that to happen. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you get money, and this was, a lot of the women, especially in my community, they have so much guilt around money. It's like, oh my gosh, no, you can't just give me money. Like, I can't just get it for no reason. You gotta want something else. There's something more, right? Or, like, I really want money, but I feel so guilty even saying that because I was raised with this religious belief that says that's greedy. Well, that's trauma. Because it's like somebody telling you it's bad and it's wrong to want to breathe.
Well, and I do think there is a lot of misconception, because think about the Bible verse says, blessed are the poor. Well, mm-hmm. I want to be blessed. And most people don't realize actually that word poor never had a financial connotation to it. Mm-hmm. But all we heard was, to inherit the kingdom, we need to be poor. That's incorrect information.
Exactly. And the one that I grew up with, like, think about a little kid thinking that, going to church and praising God is the highest order of life. And then going to church and hearing, well, it's better for a poor man to enter the kingdom of heaven than, or whatever that is. I've done so much work to forget it, but it's the one with the needle in the haystack. Right. Do you know it, Denise?
I do. It's where the man turned to Jesus and said, how do I inherit the kingdom? And he said, you give away your riches. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I can't do that. And it's better to inherit, it's harder to go through the eye of a needle with that money. But it was also Jesus was talking about your heart.
Right.
And it was about, and this is where, I agree, money trauma comes in, but money is for generosity.
Right.
But if you're hoarding money and it's prideful, that's what Jesus was talking about, is that mindset, because he also talks about as our soul prospers. So when you're talking about money trauma, our soul needs to be healed so that our soul can prosper. It's a biblical reference. He wants us to prosper, but then it's the test of what do we do with it. If we're being a hard taskmaster, or like as in having our employees get minimum wage as we're driving the BMW, and not being generous in that, in our heart, in our compassion with our finances, that's where, and I think so many times pastors or churches or however, or maybe even grandma, because sometimes we get our beliefs from our family. They say a coined phrase, but that's what we hear, and we don't ever do our due diligence as to what it actually meant. Hence going back to that phrase of blessed are the poor. No,
Right.
we're not supposed to be poor. We're supposed to have that wealth, have that abundance.
Absolutely. So so what I realized for me was that there were all these, sayings that I had taken on, all these cultural things that people, as a kid was telling me, you have to work hard to succeed. Oh my gosh, that scared the living daylights out of me. I'm a little baby. And so I'm studying like crazy and just doing a lot of work to make money. So let's talk about, how do you know if you've had trauma related to money? I want to give you the definition of trauma, right? So trauma is anything that makes you feel less than good. And this is from a trauma expert that we have in our community, Michelle Rosendahl. She's a PTSD expert and a trauma expert, having healed her own childhood trauma, near-death experience actually. And she says trauma is anything that makes you feel less than good. And so I thought, when I say trauma, the first thing that might come to your mind is, well, I never nearly lost my life over money, so I don't have money trauma. Okay, but now I want you to think, have you ever had any experience in your life where money was involved and it made you feel less than good? And for that, every human being, the answer is yes. So for all of us, you have had money traumas in your life. And if you have a trauma, think about that. That made you feel less than good. So now you created this agreement in your mind. Oh my God, this thing happened in my life with money. It didn't make me feel good. So you know what? Back off. Back off. You stay away. And so you're over here going, stay away. And then you're over here working hard for it to come in, right? So you got this like thing going on, and that's why you work hard. That's why you're exhausted. That's why you're frustrated. That's why money will come in and go out as fast as you get it, because you got this like thing going on that's push pull and not flow, right? And definitely not flow to you. So I want to share some of the top 5 money traumas that my clients have gone through. And here's what I want you to do. There's going to be 5. There's 13 in total. So you want to watch the video to see all 13. But as I list these 5, every one that I described, if it relates to you, I want you to type the number, right? So I'm going to say number 1, and I'm going to tell you what that is. And then you're going to type number 1 if it relates to you. And we're going to keep going. All right. So number 1 is, you've had a painful experience in your life that involves money. A painful experience, something that made you sad or angry, or your feelings really hurt, and money was involved. For many of us, the top 2 that come to my mind is if you've gone through a divorce, right? One of the top reasons that people get divorced is money. So here you were. So Cheryl, can you type number 1? Right? Instead of yes, type 1, because I'm going to give you numbers and I want you to see how many you have out of the 5. And then you want to watch the video to see the whole 13, because then you'll write all the numbers. So number 1 is, you've had a painful experience and money was involved. It could be a divorce. It could also be maybe growing up as a child. And this is for so many of us. You observed your parents who you love, or your caregivers who you love, and they were there to take care of you, and you were in this environment where they were fighting over money. Or you could tell they were angry or upset or, frustrated because they were having to work hard to provide for you or put a roof over the head or whatever it was. Money was involved, and it caused you in your little tiny heart, full well that, gosh, this is why my parents are so angry or so tired, or this is why for me, this was mine. My mom had me at 18. She immediately had to go look for work. Immediately, right? She's an 18-year-old uneducated woman. She didn't finish high school. So she had to go get work to take care of me and her. And so I grew up without my mommy's love. That caused me sadness. So that's how I know about this trauma, right? I know that I spent the first 10 years without my mom, and it made me sad and lonely, and it was painful. And I knew the reason I didn't have my mom was money,
Mhm.
right? So that would be number one. Number two, and I'm just gonna put this out there. This is just an observation. I had obviously I had a salon franchise. I had 25 stylists on my team. I would say that that was enough of a sizable group to know that this is something that's prevalent in this industry, because I saw it day in and day out. So if this is you, you're going to write number two. At some time in your life, you have been controlled or manipulated and money was involved. At some time in your life, you've been controlled by somebody else or manipulated by somebody else in your life and money was involved. And so if that's you, you're going to write number two. And again, I saw this happen all the time. You know, I would get stylists that would come to work for me and they had had prior employment experience where they were so abused by their employer, or whether they were in an agreement with a salon owner where they got a percentage or whatever it was. There was just so much pain that they came with because, you know, they were being controlled and manipulated by whomever owned the business. And so they came with that baggage. And you can't have an experience like that without saying, that thing that was involved, which was money, I don't want you. It's not humanly possible, right? So if that's you, you're going to write number two. Denise, you have any thoughts on that? Do you agree that you see that too?
Absolutely. And I was even thinking about how often did we see maybe dad was the one that controlled money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, maybe mom couldn't purchase without dad giving the checkbook or giving the okay.
Yeah.
So that's another, you know, I mean,
Another
and
one.
again, maybe it was well intentioned. I mean, you
Mhm.
know, think about just how, just certain times it might not have been meanly done. It's just
Mhm.
dad was the one that did the checkbook, you
Right.
know, but suddenly, you know, as a child, these are all little things that we see. And then when we go into a workplace environment, oh, well, it's not dad, but it's my boss.
Right. Exactly. Because it just reoccurs.
Right.
So now let's move on to number three. Again, it's similar to the last one, but this is a little different. So hear this one out. This is where, and this could currently be your situation or you've experienced this. I call it the prisoner effect. And this is just life in general. For some reason, you feel like a prisoner in your life or a prisoner to money, right? Like your freedom is being taken away. You can't do the things you want to do in life. You can't, you know, you are, it's kind of like you're either staying in a situation because of money, or you have in the past stayed in something that you know you shouldn't have been there, but you just had this prisoner feeling like you didn't have a choice and it was over money, right? So that one is number three. If that's you, then go ahead and type three.
Well,
And
and
there's still, go ahead.
sorry, Tasha, I was just going to say, I think a lot of that mindset stops people from taking that leap of faith. They
Yeah.
have an idea, or they have like, oh, you know, I shouldn't stay in this job, but I don't have the other door hasn't appeared, and they're too afraid to just leap. So then they stay, and
Yeah.
another opportunity doesn't come forth because they're in that prison environment, and they don't even realize the shackles that are tying them to that environment, that atmosphere, that community, that friendship, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I can tell you that after my husband passed away, I felt like I needed to move on from
Yeah.
my position. I felt it so strongly. And yet suddenly I was a single mom. And I'm like, I'm very well respected in my position. I'm getting that paycheck. I have health benefits. I had just received a $15,000 pay increase. And yet I was like, I felt so strongly I needed to move on, and I didn't. And
Yeah.
I waited. And guess what? About a year and a half later, the universe made the decision for me. I walked in and they're like, Denise, we've decided to change directions. with our company and you're no longer needed. And I was like, but wait, I wanted to do it on my terms 6 months ago.
Right.
But I didn't.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. So that's a really good question, right? Like right now, I spoke to a lady after the last week when I did the webinar, and she shared with me that she had made a major decision to invest in some equipment for her business.
Mm-hmm.
I think she does facials, and I was really proud of her because I thought, wow, like obviously she did it right before all this happened, but she said, I still have so much faith that it's going to work out. And I go, kudos to you. But so many other people, especially right now, are thinking, I don't want to take a risk. I know I could do this thing that would expand my business, or I know I could get some additional skills, or I know if I did that one certification or became a member of NASNPRO, I know if I did some more courses, whatever it is, I know if I did it, it would really put me in a better position to make more money. But it involves money. So let me just stay prisoner to my little life and my frustration that I'm accustomed to, right? So that's how that plays out in your life. All right, so number 4, let's go on to number 4, is this one again, very, like I told you, I'm telling you the top 5. And let me just say, by the way, the reason I have this list is because I have gone through all of these myself. When I told you I sat down and I looked at why money was such an issue for me, I was able to identify these 13 traumas, that major life things that had happened to me. And then as I started serving clients from all over the world, I was like, oh wow, they've gone through all of these too, right? So that's how I came up with this list, is because I have been through all of them. And if I can change them, I know you can too. So number 4 is you've made a choice in your life that involves money and you deeply regret it. At some point in your life, you made a decision, a financial decision of some sort, money was involved, and you deeply regret it. Shout out to Facets of Hospitality for typing these up so fast. Wow, I'm like, did I give them my notes? How are they able to type that up so fast?
They're awesome. They are, everyone should go look at this company. They are just on top of it, quality, integrity, and they've helped NASNPRO behind the scenes for the last year. I've been working with them.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough good things about them. But
oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. All right, send me your information. Okay. So number 4, right? That was number 4. Is number 4 relevant to you? Is that you've made money choices that you deeply regret? Lord, so many of us have made real estate investments at some point in our life. We've gotten involved in network marketing. We've loaned a family member some money we never got back. We all, every single one of us at some point have some money thing that we've done and we regret it deeply. So if that's you, that's number 4. You're going to type number 4 in the comments. Remember, you want to be typing because I want you to see, and I want to see that, those of you that are watching, want to see what your things are. So you want to write it down, but you also want to be typing in the comments. All right. And then number 5, and remember, this is only 5 out of 13. So if you're seeing that you have a lot of these, you definitely want to know what the others are, because once you turn the light on, you can't, like now you don't have this thing running in your life that you don't know what's going on. Once you know the 13, it's like, oh wow, that's what it is. And when you start seeing yourself in the pattern, you're like, that's my money trauma. And that alone will begin to create transformation. Just knowing what's going on will begin to create transformation in your money experience.
Because when you're starting to identify these, Tasha, that should be something like almost a little ding, ding, ding. Wait a minute, stop.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Why are you making these choices, or why aren't you making these choices?
Right. Exactly.
It could go both ways. So it helps you, that identification, to opening up that door to making wiser, wealthy choices.
Exactly. And here's the thing. If you are truly a professional, you are going to be faced at some point in your professional experience with the decision to invest money again. It's going to happen. You can't run away from it. So you, when you're in that moment, you know, like when we bring new clients into our business and they'll say, I'm nervous because I've made investments in the past and it didn't work out, and I stop it right there. I go, listen, we're not bringing that baggage into this financial, you know, decision that you're about to make, because all you're doing is taking the path and making your future decisions a mess. Nothing good is going to come from you bringing that trauma into this new decision that you're going to make for the future. So you want to see when it's happening so you know what to do. You can stop yourself and go, I'm going to make this investment and I'm going to get 4 or 5 times the return on this investment. Instead of going, oh my God, should I do it? You know, last time I invested, it didn't work out. That's your trauma at play. And all that's going to happen is it's not going to work out. You're going to regret it again. So that's why you need to know what these traumas are, and then you can make a different decision. The last one that I'm sharing today of the 13, number 5, is you have this feeling that you have failed financially. You have a feeling that says, I'm not where I should be financially. And that creates trauma. That makes us not sleep at night. It makes us look at our bank account and get depressed. It makes us look at our age, especially for us women, and go, oh my God, it's over. I don't even stand a chance. I'm just going to be working on my feet like this forever, and I'm barely making enough, right? So that is a major trauma. I have a lot of, again, especially women who, you know, they're in that like 45 to 55 age range. And if you're even older than that, it's worse. So, you know, I just want you to be aware, like, this is trauma playing out. If you have any feeling that I should be further along than this in my finances, or I should be handling my finances better, or I just feel like a failure with money. It might just be that. I feel like a failure with money. You're literally traumatizing yourself over and over and over and over again every time you think that. And you're doing that to you. So you can see, I hope, let me know, you can see, I hope, that these traumatic thoughts and experiences from your past or that are currently playing out, someone just says, I have all these traumas. And again, remember, I have them all. And
I had them all too, all 13. I mean, I went through Tasha's program and I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I have all of them. And then I messaged Tasha, I go, I think I have more than 13. You know, I have layers and layers and layers of them. And I think one of the things that I struggled with, Tasha, was the word trauma. Because when I think of trauma, I think of horrific abuse.
Right.
You know, and all of that. So, you know, okay, I made a bad decision, but how is that trauma?
Yeah.
But it goes into your DNA, and it's almost like, you know, as massage therapists, as estheticians, we talk about muscle memory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That is exactly that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a bad decision. That phrase, that negative, like I remember my mom saying to, you know, I always would hear her after coming home from a long day of work. My parents were entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And she would be like doing the books and, you know, all the things that we do after we close the shop.
Right.
And she'd be like, I'm so tired, but I can't stop because, and she goes, I know the day I stop will be the day you put me in a casket. So, you know, you work and work and work and work and work, and that's what you've learned because you saw your parents had a business and you're not allowed to rest. Because even if we went to church on Sunday and it was a day of rest, well, after church and after lunch, we still did business. We still did work. And we're not going to have abundance or wealth until that day we die. So it's interesting, you know, again, when you start seeing the different going through that list, you start going ding, 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 ding. Oh my goodness, I need to reset this pattern. Fast.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that was an eye opener. And again, remember, there's so much more. beautiful birds outside my window. Sorry, they just flew by and I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so now I want to talk about, I'm going to share that story with you that I promised about my client. So I had a client sign up for my program. It's one of my higher level programs, so she paid a lot of money. And she wasn't somebody who had it just laying around. You know, she was really doing everything she could to pay for this program, and she was taking the work seriously. She was showing up to everything that we were doing. She was doing all the things that we told her to do. And she called me one day and she said, I'm really frustrated, Tasha, because I'm doing everything that you've told me to do. And I can't tell you that money isn't coming, because it is, but it's not coming to me. And so what was happening for her was, she was in my program, she paid me, and she did it because she wanted more money. That's why people join our program, right? She wanted more money. But what was happening was her husband was getting money, like money was just like flying in to him, not just from his business, but in random ways. It was so bad, you guys, that her kids were getting money. Like, when your kids don't work and they're getting money like nonstop, again, this is what happens, is that you get to where you have to look at what's going on and go, this something else is going on here, right? And so that was it for her. So she called me and I said, okay, I didn't say this at first. Inside I said, okay, she has some serious money trauma. That's what's going on. So we started talking. I got into more of her story, and actually she had done a video for something else that I had happened to watch, and she had shared her story about growing up. And just to cut to, a long story short, she grew up in a situation where her father sold drugs, and for most of her childhood she didn't understand what was going on, just that daddy was always gone to prison. And mommy was having to work really hard. But she didn't know what the source of this was. She didn't know that there was the drugs. She didn't know where her dad was, nothing. And then the day came where she found out. And it affected her life. She dropped out of school. She had to move. He went to prison, obviously, for a long time. She wanted nothing to do with him. She was mad at her mom, like a lot of anger, right? And what is the reason for all this? It's not the drugs. It's money. That was the reason for all of this trauma in her life. At the end of the day, strip away everything, it was money. So I started talking to her about this story, and I said, how is your relationship now with your parents? She goes, my mom lives with me and I don't even talk to her.
Wait, Tasha, the mom lives with her.
Yeah, so her mom was now living with her in her house, and she wasn't even talking to her. And she said, and my father, his choices are his choices, but I want nothing to do with him. I don't want him around my kids. The language that says, still very hurt, still very angry, still a lot of trauma. And so I gave her the work to do and the assignment to do and sent her off. 3 weeks later, I was in Jamaica. It was not this past July, but the one before. I was in Jamaica. I got a video message from her on Facebook Messenger. I bawled like a baby because I realized, look at what's possible when you deal with these traumas. And so 3 weeks later, here's what happened. She called me crying because she had just found out that $190,000 of debt was being paid in full. She had got a notice that it was being revoked, and she got a message saying, your $190,000. Can you imagine the pressure of and I'm not talking about a mortgage, talking about loans. $190,000 of debt, and you get a message, one clean sweep, it's been revoked, it's been taken away. What would that feel like? She was bawling, and so was I. And I knew, and she knew, that it was because she had dealt with this trauma. So that is what I want you to see. And I have so many stories of my clients and the way their businesses have changed, the way money started flowing from all over to them, the way they started making more money easier. Like, so much happens because you've taken away this charged relationship that you have with money, because bad stuff has happened in your life that was related to money. So does that make sense? Can you type yes, it makes sense? So I know that you really got what I'm saying? Yes, it makes sense. Can you type that in the comments and let me know? Awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
So,
And
hey, Tasha, I have a question for you.
yeah,
The link that has the 13, is that the link that you sent us?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Facets of Hospitality, that link that we sent you, that's the link that they need to have.
Yes, so if you can post that, that would be great, right? Okay, so, and if you're watching live, I'm just gonna say it, it's a very long link. I'm gonna say it, you can write it down, but it's posted everywhere in the comments to the video, the description to the video, and also it's being posted in the chat, right? But it's, my business is called Science of Getting Rich Academy. Science, like scientific, Science of Getting Rich Academy.com is our business website, and then you're going to put /opt-in, which is OPTIN. So scienceofgettingrich.academy.com/opt-in, and that will get you the link that will take you to the video with all 13. So now let's talk about, I've made you aware of these traumas. Wow, Tasha, that's overwhelming. Now what do I do? I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you sad and overwhelmed at all. I'm not going to do that to you. But I am going to be honest and tell you that to work on this takes 2 steps. Right now on this webinar, I'm going to share step number 1 and step number 2, like everything else in life. You know, it's kind of like you've never done this before, so you don't know how to do it, and you need some support and some guidance to help to show you how to do it. That's step number 2, and I'm going to tell you how you can get that part in a minute, right? Right now, I'm going to tell you the part that you can do right now. Right now, you can do this, and you will begin the process of letting go of this trauma. This is the beginning, step number 1, okay? So step number 1 is you're going to watch the video, the rest with the 13. You're going to go to that website, you're going to watch all 13, you're going to mark your numbers down, and you're just going to look at your sheet, and you're going to say, I have all of these. I accept it. I'm not going to make myself bad or wrong. I'm not, I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to criticize myself. That is not going to serve any purpose at all. What you're going to do is be loving and accepting. That's what I did. I looked at everything and I go, all right, I have these. It just is. I have it. Because when you accept something, it no longer has power over you. When you are trying to like dodge it, not think about it, even the fact that you didn't even know you had it and it's playing out makes it have power in your life. But the moment you look at it and you go, all right, I have this, I accept it. Just think about that. It can't be the boogeyman in the closet in the dark anymore, right? You turn on the light, it has to go. So step number 1 is I accept it. Step number 2, you have written everything down, all of the ones that apply to you. And I want you to burn it. I want you to rip it up. I want you to throw it away. I want you to discard it as your act of, I am releasing these traumas from my life. So step number 2 is releasing. Number 1, you're going to accept it. You're going to look at it and you're just going to go, I'm done with this. I am done. Rip it up, burn it, throw it away, release. Just get rid of it. It's your action of saying, done. I don't want this in my life anymore, right? Obviously, once you do that, there are some other things you're going to need to do so it stays gone from your life. But that first part is very powerful.
Well, and did you notice, everyone, what did she do when she said that? She put her hand over her heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it was as if she was doing just the self-healing of those broken hearts, of all of those choices and things that have come from the money trauma. And I always say, when I've gotten stressed, I take my shoes off, go walk in the grass or at the beach, and I pat myself on my heart as if to replenish or reaffirm that heart chakra and heal what is going on.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I may be jumping ahead, Tasha, when you told our group to go and burn, that before I burned those 13, and I had all 13, plus I think I added a few more traumas, before I burned it, I said each trauma out loud, and then I said, I have nothing in common with this trauma. I have nothing in common with that bad decision. I have nothing in common with that, you know, whatever all those traumas were.
Yeah.
Then I did the burning.
Yeah. So another like powerful step similar to what Denise did is you can say out loud, and you know, the most powerful thing that we have as human beings is our free will. So I would say, if it were me, I would say, I am choosing to release this from my life. I am choosing. This is my choice, this is my free will, and I am choosing to let this go. And you read all of them and you let it go. That's an extra step that it makes you feel empowered. Go ahead and do that. So looking at the time, I don't want to rush. So I want to make sure I get everything in. So the third part, so number 1, accept. Number 2, release. And number 3, you'll notice this is a pattern with me, but I'm teaching you this because I've done it and it works. Nothing that I'm telling you to do is hard work. The people that have made the $45 million and counting, this stuff that I'm telling you is exactly what they did. It blows my mind that to change your financial reality can be so easy, but instead we have believed we need to work hard for it. Well, what I'm about to tell you to do is so easy. So what you're going to look at now is, you know what? What would I want my financial reality to look like if I no longer have these traumas and they're gone from my life? So, you know, it might look like, I'm so happy and grateful that now money brings me happiness. Money comes into my life with ease, right? So the first one we said was you had a painful experience with money. Well, you know what? No more. When money comes to me, it comes with joy. It comes along with joyful experiences. It comes with ease. I don't have to work hard or remember my parents working hard. Like that is not the way I want to experience money anymore. You know, maybe in your past, your trauma was that you felt like you were being held prisoner. I'm so grateful I get to choose. I get to choose. I am in control of how I spend money, how it comes to me. I have freedom with money. And so you start writing out, and this is very simple, very basic, but this works. You get to decide. I'm always saying, I am the one who decides what happens in my life. And I write out what it is that I want my life to look like, and then I live it. That's how it works. You know, it says another biblical phrase, and the word was made flesh. Right? What that means is the word that was spoken and that was written, it became real. It became reality. That's what that means, the power of our words, right? To clear the vision. Those without a vision perish, right? So if you're not writing out and speaking out the way you want your life to be, then you're gonna keep living the one you have. And if you're happy with it, good for you. I know there was a period where it really sucked for me, and I needed to write out a new financial reality for myself. So that's step number 1. Remember, I told you it's a 2-step process. You're going to click the link to the video. When you click the link to the video, you're going to watch the video that says there's 13 of them you're going to go through, but at the very bottom, you're going to see a link to join my tribe, right? And oh, by the way, one other thing, when you click on the link, it's going to ask you to put in your name. It's going to say, who were you referred by? How did you hear about this video? Because I have created this page specifically just for you. Not everybody knows about this, right? So it's just for NASNPRO members. So you want to put in, when it says who were you referred by, you want to put in NASNPRO, NASNPRO, and that will tell us that you are from this group, because we're going to give you a very, very special thing that only you.
As what we do always, a member reward. So, you know, we're making certain that we can give you a great resource, you know, and who I work with, I vet. So that's why, you know, when I met Tasha, I wanted to go through and see, you know, because I just don't want to give someone and it just be magic, weird, woo-woo stuff. but it was tangible things that she was telling me that that resonated. So
Yeah.
again, NASNPRO members bringing you education and exclusive resources, and Tasha is the real deal. So I really am excited that she is working with us and doing this. And sneak peek, she's speaking at our Atlanta event. Woohoo!
I
So
get to meet so many of you in person.
that'll be this fall. So, you know, by then, hopefully all bugs will be worked out and this and that, and we won't be in full on hazmat. But
we're going to get to hug
yeah.
and dance together and have fun and sit with each other. It's going to be amazing. That's my intention. I want to meet as many of you as I possibly can in Atlanta.
So
All right,
tell us about this.
Before I go, I want to make sure you get this part number 2. Here is what happened. After I became aware of my money traumas, right? Remember that this had operated in my life for a long time. So now the light was turned on and it made sense to me what was going on. But because I was a part of the creation, I didn't have all the tools I needed to create the solution. I needed somebody outside of me who had gone through this before, had resolved it for themselves, and they could show me what to do so I could truly get rid of it forever and not have it show up again in my life. And so what I have for you is I'm going to share with you access to my membership, where I show people I have 12 modules. You can do this on your own. Everything I share is easy breezy. It takes 15 minutes at the most. There's 12 of them. You can do one a month if you want. But the very first one that's on there is called The Science of Getting Rich. It's a 30-day program that my clients who pay me thousands of dollars to work with me. To work with me one-on-one is $25,000 for 6 months. So I want to tell you that what I'm sharing with you, you're going to get access to what people like, people who pay me that amount of money. This is exactly the first thing I tell them to do. And so I'm going to give that to you at a very, very reasonable price that everyone can do. And that's why I want you to know, I created this, my team created this page especially for you guys, right? So that's what's in there. It's 12 months of work. You get to work on this. You get to go through the 30 days of the Science of Getting Rich. Why do you need this 30 days of the Science of Getting Rich? Why do you need it to deal with your money trauma? I'm going to tell you why. In this 30 days, you are going to change the way you think. It is going to show you how to think money, how to think ease, how to think abundance, how to think to attract results that you want in your life that you've never before been able to figure out how to do. And I make it so easy, you're actually going to love doing it. You're going to start to see changes in your life and in your business that are going to blow your mind. And you're going to know for yourself, not me telling you, you're going to know for yourself that your traumas are gone. And that's what's powerful. My client that manifested the $190,000 of debt being gone, this is the program she paid me thousands of dollars to do. So what I've created for you is, this is a do-it-yourself version. You get a lot of videos from me, a lot of daily things to do, but I've created a way for you to do it for $47 a month. That is crazy. That is not public knowledge. That is not out there, because remember, even I hope the lady that was watching that called me last week and I shared with her what it would take to join my program, and she knows it was several $1,000s. I have this other program that I don't make public. I only have it for special occasions like this. It's $47 a month. And when you go to the link, scienceofgettingrichacademy.com/opt-in, right underneath the video, you'll see a little box that says join the tribe, right? So when you click that, join the tribe, that is where you will see the page that allows you to pay $47 a month. Or if you can pay $495. It gives you the whole, all 12 modules. You can have access to it for a whole year. And $495 at one payment is a lot less than $47 for 12 months. So whichever, financially, whichever one you can do, those are the two options. But what I want you to know is you have access to it for as little as $47 a month. I really hope that listening to this webinar, and my intention is that it made sense to you, that you understand how these traumatic experiences with money in your life are blocking you from making money easier, faster, and more consistently, right? Because you know money comes in and it's like a little bit here, then it's gone, or a lot and then it's gone. And I know in this industry, that's the way it is. It's very seasonal. It's very like you have, we can't live like that. We want to know with guaranteed certainty that money is going to come easy for us. It's going to come in large amounts and it's going to come consistently. That's the way I want to live. And so I'm hoping that you see when you deal with these traumas, you can have a financial life that looks like that. If I can do it, you can do it. And if the people I've shown to create over $45 million can do it, I know you can do it. So what I want you to see is the connection, and then for you to be willing to do the work that I'm sharing with you. This is the steps it takes, and it's easy. The link, okay, there we go. So yeah, so I want you to just click on the link, come watch the video, and then come join us and let us know that you've heard about it from NASNPRO. Whether you're watching the replay or you're watching live, make sure you do that part and let us know. I hope this was of value for you. I really enjoyed the comments that I saw, everyone saying, I got so much. I love coming to share with your group. Thank you so much, Denise, and all the NASNPRO members and Facets of Hospitality. You guys rock.
All right, everyone, we'll go to that link, find all the traumas that are affecting you from getting financial wealth and money coming in. I think you're going to find it very fascinating. I love the fact, Tasha, and I'll just ask one more quick question, we'll wrap it up. I love the fact that you say this is science.
Yeah.
So this isn't, you know, like I said, woo-woo. There's an actual process of science that you, in your groups, that you share. And so, again, that's one of the reasons that caught my eye. It wasn't just, you know, hold this crystal. And again, I love my gemstones. I love my crystals, you know, but it wasn't, you know, going out to the backyard and dancing around naked. And if that's what you need to do when you're burning your list up, that's okay. But there's an actual science of this, and you're teaching us the steps so that we really can live the way we're supposed to, prosperous, whole. And I think in these times, we need to that. So when we're reopening, we're not making decisions of purchasing maybe a big piece of equipment, but we're actually purchasing it with that foundation of this is going to work. We're going to go into a season of success and an abundance rather than depression and, you know, listening to the news. We've got this, and you've got a tribe, and we've got a network that wants to build you up and support you. So that's why we partnered with Tasha. So again, if you have not become a NASNPRO member, it is free. So there's savings right there. Plus we have a whole bunch of exclusive rewards and then discounts. And Tasha is one of our special rewards that we have in our network. So thank you so much, Tasha. Shout out again to Facets of Hospitality. They have an exclusive member reward. So log in today, start looking at what we have to offer you. And thank you for being a NASNPRO member. And Tasha, thank you for being a NASNPRO member.
Oh, I'm very honored to, you know, just share what I know with you guys. Ultimately, listen, I want us all to thrive and succeed. That is my desire, is that life just gets easier and more abundant for all of us. And I'm looking forward to seeing a ton of you in
Atlanta this fall.
Atlanta.
All right, well, have a great day, everyone. Be well, stay safe, and be blessed.
Bye, everyone. Thanks again, Denise. Bye-bye.